So we're starting a new unit over factoring, and we are first going to get started with what we call factoring to find the greatest common factor, the GCF. This is not something new. This is something you've seen before, but it's just been a while. And so to get started, well, let's go back to some old school ways of just finding the factors of each number. So if you have the number 75, and I said find all your factors of 75, I'm asking what divides evenly into 75. Well, I know that 1 in itself work, 1 times 75. 2 doesn't go in there, but 3 will divide in there 25 times. And then 5 will divide in there, let's see, 15 times. 15 times. And so when I do this and I kind of meet in the middle like this, I am able to get all of the numbers that I need for my factors of 75. I kind of ran out of room here. But 1, 3, 5, I know that 6 is not, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 are not factors of 75. So I'm just going to stop right here. I've got them all. Now, if you wanted to use your calculator to help you with this, what you could do is go into y equals and type in 75 divided by x, and then go to your table of values. And in your table of values, you can see all your whole numbers, 3 and 25, 15 and 5, and then arrow down and see that, oh, those are all decimals. So I'm done until I get back to 15 and 5. So I've got them all. Now, if your number is negative, like -8, what you want to do is you want to factor out that -1, because we are going to be doing that where we factor out the -1. So -1 and 8, I know it's divisible by 2, and the other factor is 4. And then let's see, 3 is not a factor, so that's it. Those are all my factors for -8. 24, let's see, I know I've got 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, and then squeezing in there I've got 4 and 6. So all of those are factors of 24. And then for 48, let's see, we got quite a few. 1 and 48, it's even, so I know it's divisible by 2. So 2 and half of 48 is 24. I can check 3. 3 will divide into 48 16 times. 4 will go into 48 12 times. Oh, and then 5 won't, but 6 will. 6 times 8. So I've got a whole bunch of factors for 48 right there. So some just have more than others, and we're going to be using those factors to find the greatest common factor. Okay, now to find the greatest common factor, we want to find a number that divides evenly into each term of an expression. So the greatest common factor can be a combination of numbers and variables. So we just did numbers here, but we're going to be moving on towards some variables. So we're going to find the greatest common factor for each number set. So in the number 27, if I were to list all of the factors of 27, 1 times 27, no 2, 3 times 9, no 4, 5, 6, or 7. Those are it. Then list all my factors for 18. I've got 1 and 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, no 4 or 5 will not work. So I've closed that gap. So these are all my factors here. To find the greatest common factor, I find the biggest one they have in common, and it looks like it's going to be 9. So my greatest common factor is 9. Do the same thing with 6 and 10. These factors are 1, 2, 3, and 6. 10 has factors of 1, 2, 5, and 10. So these are a little bit easier to deal with. The only thing they have in common is a 2. And just remember, if both the numbers are even, we know that they are divisible by 2. So the greatest common factor for those is 2. Okay, let's look at C. We've got variables now. So I'm going to list this out. My 2x squared. My factors for 2 are just 1 and 2. My factors for x squared are 2x's. 4x to the 4th, my factors for 4 are 1, 2, and 4. My factors for x to the 4th are 4x's. 4x's get multiplied to get x to the 4th. Now, what we want to do here is circle everything that we have in common. So as far as our numbers go, we have a common factor of 2. As far as our x's go, I have 2 x's here and I've got 2 x's here. I've got more x's, but what I have in common is just 2. So you always have to look at the smaller amount because you can't go greater than that. So they both at least have 2 x's in there. So now my greatest common factor for those terms is 2x to the 2nd. Let's look at D. D, I've got 6x to the 3rd, y to the 5th. Okay, so let's do our factors of 6. They're 1, 2, 3, and 6. My factors of x, I've got 1, 2, 3 x's, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 y's. Now we're going to go on to the next term. 8x to the 4th and y. So my factors of 8 are 1, 2, 4, and 8. My factors of x to the 4th, there's 4 of them. And for y, there's only 1. So when I pick out what they have in common, the only number that they have in common is this 2. I've got 3 x's and I've got 4 x's, so I know I've got 3 x's in common. I've only got 1 y here, so I can only circle out 1 y here. So what they have in common is a 2, x to the 3rd, y to the 1st. Let's put GCF out here. All right, and then an E. We've got 3 different terms. So let's take the 4ab squared, and we'll factor that out into a 1, a 2, a 4, an A, and a B, and another B. 6b to the 3rd, we'll break that out to factors of 1, 2, 3, and 6, and then 3 B's. And 36ab. 36ab, there's quite a few. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, no 7, 8, but 9. 9 times 4, 3 times 12, 2 times 18, and 1 times 36. So 36 has quite a few factors in it. And then it's only got 1a and 1b. So when I look at the greatest common factor, you know, these both have 4s, but this one doesn't. These have 6s, but this one doesn't. The only one they all have in common is that 2. And these 2 have an A, but this one doesn't. But they all have at least 1 B. So after all of that, the only thing those 3 terms have in common is a 2 and a B. All right, now, with practicing this, the next thing I want to do is apply this to finding the greatest common factor of polynomials. And this is our assignment that we're going to be working on. So I want to take a look at our assignment. And let's go ahead and start with, we'll just do number 1. Some of this we're going to have to use our mental math skills. If you're not good with your mental math skills, you can use a calculator to do it. And later I'm going to show you how to use Desmos. But right here, I'm going to look at the fact that my lead term is negative. So I know I need to factor out a -1. Okay, and I'm just going to put a negative right there. But if I look at all of these coefficients, all right, look at your smallest number, which is 7. Does 7 divide evenly into 35? Yes, it divides 5 times. Does it divide evenly into 56? Yes, it divides 8 times. And if you didn't know that, then you would just say 56 divided by 7. It goes in 8 times. Okay, so I know that all of these terms have a 7 in common. Now, let's move on to the y's and the x's. Let's see. This has a y to the 7th. This has a y to the 3rd. And this has a y to the 1st. So, you look at your smallest y value. That's the most we can take out. I can't take out y to the 3rd because this doesn't have 3 y's in it. So I can only take out one of those y's. This is the only term that has an x in it. So we can't factor out an x. It's not what they have in common. Now notice I wrote this down over here, giving us some room, because how we're going to write what we have left over is we have to show that we're dividing each one of these terms by a -7y. And so that's my greatest common factor. That's my GCF. Now I'm writing down what I have left over once I take that common factor out. So a negative divided by a negative is a positive. 56 divided by 7 is 8. Y to the 7th divided by y. Remember, we subtract our exponents. So that's going to leave us y to the 6th. 7 minus 1 is 6. Then we have x to the 6th, which should be written first. I'm surprised it's written second. The next term, negative divided by a negative is a positive. 7 divided by 7 is 1. Y to the 3rd divided by y, that's 3 minus 1 is y to the 2nd. So that's our second term. Lastly, negative divided by negative is a positive. 35 divided by 7 is 5. And y divided by y is just 1, because that is y to the 1st minus 1, which is y to the 0, which just equals 1. So remember those rules that we did with our exponents. Remember, when we divide, we subtract those exponents. So this is what we have left over after we take out the greatest common factor. All right, I'm going to skip down and I'm going to look at number 5. Number 5. I'm looking at these terms and I'm finding my smallest value, which is a 4. And my factors of 4 are 4 and 2. 6 is divisible by 2, but 9 is not. Neither of these are divisible by 4. So there is no coefficient common factor there, except for this -1. And I'm going to factor out a -1 right there. And I should have written that down a little bit lower. I'm going to write that down there, kind of wipe this out a little bit. Now, the only other thing I have to look at are my variables. So let's see, I've got my smallest exponent for my variable is a 6. So that's the most that I can take out is 6, because that's all that these have in common. They all have at least 6 b's to factor out. So when I factor a negative out, that's going to be positive. And oh, let me go ahead and write that over under here. This is a negative b to the 6, a negative b to the 6, and a negative b to the 6. So those negatives make a positive. My exponents, I subtract. 9 minus 6 is 3. I'm going to have 3 left over. Positive divided by a negative is a negative. 7 minus 6 is 1, so that's b to the first. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. I have a 9, and b to the 6 divided by b to the 6 is just 1, and 1 times 9 is 9. So this would be my final answer. And that negative, that 1 right there, we don't even need it. I wrote it there, though, just to kind of get us started, but it's assumed that there's a 1 in front of that b to the 6, and it is negative. All right, let's take a look down. There's some bigger ones to deal with. So right down here, we've got 72, 40, and 56. So I'm going to look at my smaller number, my 40. And my factors, I've got 40, which doesn't work. That's the biggest. The next biggest factor is 20. And so here's what you can do. You can go back into y equals and take, clear that out and say 40 divided by x, and take a look at all your factors here. And then we've got 42, 20, 4, and 10. Let's see, I do believe 4 is a factor of each one of those. So if I go back here, well, I can't quit. There we go. And I take 72 divided by 4, I get 18. And 56 divided by 4, I get 14. So 4 is a common factor of all of those. Ooh, I've got an even bigger common factor. Let's go even bigger. Let's try 8. 8 is a factor of 40. 8 is a factor of 72. And 8 is a factor of 56. So if we go even further, we see that 8 is in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to write down 8. And I'm going to go through, I'm going to pick out my x's. Do I have any x's? I've got an x squared, but no x, and I've got an x squared. So I don't have x's in common for all of them. My y's, I've got to the 4th, to the 5th, and to the 3rd. So I'm going to focus on this y to the 3rd right there, because I've got at least 3 y's and all of them to factor out. So I'm going to divide everything by an 8y to the 3rd. 72 divided by 8 is 9. My factors, my exponents, 4 minus 3 is 1. And then I have my x squared. 40 divided by 8 is 5. Y to the 5th, 5 minus 3 is 2. 56 divided by 8 is 7. Y to the 3rd divided by y to the 3rd is 1. So those factor out. So I'm left with an x squared. There we go. And that is my final answer. All right, so I am probably going to do a few more. I'm not post them on the video, but just to give you an idea of what to work with, and then y'all can finish on your own. Have a great day.